morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. First up today, Duane Toews is at the Kansas Soybean Expo with Chairman of the Kansas Soybean Commission, Kurt Maurath. Then enjoy this week's Kansas Soybean Update. Next, Duane introduces us to Donnell Rehagen with the National Biodiesel Board. Then it's this week's Angus Report, and we'll end with Plain Talk featuring Kyle and Duane. Stay with us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Grain Sorghum. Growers working together. Find out more at kansasgrainsorghum.org.
Welcome to Farm Factor. Up first, Duane Toews is talking soybeans with Kurt Maurath, Chairman of the Kansas Soybean Commission.
Duane Toews joining you once again here on Ag AM in Kansas, and a chance to catch up with Kurt Maurath, Chair of the Kansas Soybean Commission. And Kurt, that Soybean Commission, that's the individuals who are tasked with the responsibility to take care of and invest those soybean checkoff dollars. There's specific guidelines that you guys have to follow in that regard.
Yes, there sure is. And, you know, our state just had a record soybean crop, so we do receive quite a bit of income from that. And we just went through the proposals this last December, November. You know, we have researchers send in stuff, and we go through all the process of figuring out which proposals would really benefit the soybean producers the most in the state of Kansas. We funded about $2.5 million worth of research, international trade marketing, local stuff, our state. You know, we run a state office and we have state programs and we fund that, and it's a really interesting process. It takes quite a while to get it all figured out.
We think about the realities of that. When we look at research, there's a number of things that you don't find out or get conclusions from in just a year's time. I know you've got a number of ongoing projects that require annual funding, and hopefully at the end of that period of time that ultimately things are brought to the forefront for producers to use and invest and be better for their bottom line.
Right, and some projects are multiple years, but we can only fund 1 year at a time. But a lot of times we are able to fund them through their second and third year. We've done a lot of fertilizer projects, and just, you know, we fund K-State with our soybean research, growing in soybeans. You know, one of our big successes is the biodiesel industry that has gone from 100,000 gallons 15 years ago to 2.5 million gallons this year in the nation. So we've been in the forefront of that. We really support it in our state. It's just a wonderful product that uses a lot of soybeans. And when you consider that 60% of our nation's beans need to be exported, then it just shows how much we've got to do to increase the need for our commodity.
Another way to do that in value-added products like biodiesel would be in the livestock products that we export in terms of meat and protein exported around the world as well, that soybeans certainly are a big part of and support as well. Right.
When we fund, and we're in partnership with organizations like the United States Soybean Export Council, USEC, or USMEAT, you know, they're all about going to the other countries like Mexico and showing them the value of the soybean protein in their chicken diets. And I also serve on a WISH committee that's with American Soybean Association. And the WISH committee goes into the really poor countries and get them to buy a pallet load of soybean flour, and shows them the benefit of that. And we have some real successes of going from zero exports to those countries to, you know, several hundred tons of exports in just a matter of a year or two.
Our thanks to Kurt for joining us here on Ag AM in Kansas with an update with the Kansas Soybean Commission. I'm Duane Toews. Jamie, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Duane. Folks, come back after these messages for this week's Kansas Soybean Update.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways. Of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at kfrm.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
ValleyVet.com, ValleyVet.com, Valley Vet Supply.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Teresa Brandenburg is joining us. She is from Osborne, serves as second vice president of the Kansas Soybean Association, and also serves as the chair of the Kansas Soybean Expo Committee. And Teresa, you finally get to breathe. The 2018 Kansas Soybean Expo is in the books.
In the books, and now we can start planning for next year.
But a great expo nonetheless.
Yeah, we had a great crowd today. We always appreciate the producers that take time away from their farm to come out here. And honestly, we got some great information about exports and markets this morning from some of our commission partners. John Jenkinson joined us for lunch, and we had a great luncheon and an association business meeting. This afternoon, we heard from K-State researchers on things that are really vital to producers, increasing yields, talking about dicamba, and then also talking about stem borers. And we had a little bit of excitement in the yield contest this year. This year, we actually had our first documented 100-bushel yield winner. So that producer actually got an extra $1,000 for being the first person in that club.
So much of that has to do with technology research and so many things that go into it, which I know is so important to look at, but to hear updates on throughout, not only here at the Expo, but throughout the year too.
Well, that's one of the great things about Kansas Soybean is we have a strong checkoff that's funding research to help producers get better. And then we have a really strong association who's working in Topeka and who's working in Washington, D.C. to make way for those policies so farmers can be productive and can do the work of growing crops. And so we are really proud of the work that's being done by Kansas Soybeans.
You'll have to up that 100-bushel goal then.
I know. We can't wait to see what's going to happen next year.
The good part, too, is seeing the effort and the involvement by your members in wanting to be a part and getting engaged in Kansas Soybean Association or Kansas Soybean Commission activities.
It takes so many people, and we've got a very diverse board. We love hearing from our farmer members. We really want you as a soybean farmer to let us know what's important to your farm. We're working and we're coming here and we're volunteering because we love what we're doing, but we also want to make it easier for every single soybean producer to do their job.
And as you mentioned, you're already working on 2019.
Yeah, we're ready to start again, so we look forward to seeing everybody next year in Topeka.
That is Teresa Brandenburg. She is from Osborne, serves as second vice president of the Kansas Soybean Association, and also serves as the chair of the Kansas Soybean Expo Committee. She joins us on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Hope you enjoyed this week's Kansas Soybean Update. Stay with us after the break for more with Duane Toews and Donnell Rehagen with the National Biodiesel Board.
All over the country, more and more communities are making the change to biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil. And the decision continues, improving the health and welfare for millions of Americans while adding billions to our national economy.
What does a brighter, more sustainable future look like in our cities and towns, and how do we get there? When New York needed an alternative fuel source to reduce carbon emissions, the city found what it needed in biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Welcome to the Jerry Thomas Gallery and Collection, where we feature my renowned artwork, frontier military, and Native American artifacts. In the painting behind me is Scouting the Trail. Two scouts overlook the Smoky Hill River Valley just north of the famous Monument Rocks, which are internationally renowned, as a column of 7th Cavalry parade north of the river. On this point, two scouts rode in a circle, and there were 18 cartridges found up there, and that meant that they usually were warning of impending danger and firing off their weapons. One of those weapons I feature in the gallery, a Spencer weapon, which we featured in the painting. Very unique and very honored to showcase this to you.
This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
Now let's talk biodiesel with Donnell Rehagen with the National Biodiesel Board.
Duane Toews joining us once again here on Ag AM in Kansas, and a chance to catch up with Donnell Rehagen. Donnell, you're the CEO of the National Biodiesel Board, and talking about biodiesel and the opportunities here in the United States, an industry that had meager beginnings but continues to build momentum, and if we keep the roadblocks out of the way, has a bright future as well.
Well, you're exactly right about that, and I guess roadblocks are our business. It seems like there's always something that someone feels a little differently about biodiesel, but we believe very much in the cause and very much in the environmental and the economic benefits biodiesel brings to the United States.
We think about some of those benefits. There have been a number of those that have been championed, all the way from emissions from school buses with young children to folks in the northeastern part of the country using heating oil with a biodiesel background. And this time of the year and some of the temperatures we've seen, glad to have any heat source we could get.
Yeah, you got that right. The bioheat industry on the Northeast has been one of our biggest market growers over the last 10 years or so. And that's an industry that struggled to kind of keep its market share in competition with natural gas and other energy sources. And so we've been able to partner with them and bring a green biodiesel product into their product and help them further promote the benefits of their product to their customers. So,
talk a little bit about some of the challenges that soybean, all the way back to the soybean growers, particularly here in the Midwest and Kansas. When we start to struggle and build a new product out, it takes a considerable amount of time and effort to make that come to fruition.
Well, you're exactly right. The National Biodiesel Board is 25 years old, and most people don't realize that we've been around that long, but the first years were really difficult years of just being methodical about the research and the technical work that needed to be done to bring a brand new fuel to the marketplace. That's a pretty monumental thing, and I always give a lot of credit to the U.S. soybean farmers who saw it, had the vision for it, and had the patience to see it through to the industry that it is today.
One of the great things about the product is that it was done right when it was developed and brought to the marketplace in terms of meeting standards and specs.
Absolutely. That was one of the first things that took us the time that it did, was we had to be patient and work through all the technical elements of biodiesel production to make sure that the end product was a very high-quality fuel product, and then to support that process through the specification stages and continuing to improve that even today.
And a great part of it is those that produce that soybean oil can use it themselves right there on the farm.
Well, absolutely. We certainly hope our nation's farmers are seeing the benefit that biodiesel brings to their bottom lines and are supporting that by using the product on the farm.
Our thanks to Donnell Rehagen, National Biodiesel Board, joining us on Ag AM in Kansas. Jamie, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Duane. Come back after the break for this week's Angus Report, where we'll find out why just filling your lot with black-hided cattle may not be enough.
This segment brought to you by the Arab Shrine Circus, coming to the Kansas Expo Center February 15th through the 18th. For ticket information, visit ArabShrineCircus.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, it's Shrine Circus time! Enjoy a weekend of thrills, chills, and tons of fun at the Kansas Expo Center February 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th. See lions and tigers, elephants, high-flying trapeze artists, and watch a man shot out of a cannon. And Johnny Rocket, everyone's favorite, is back! For more information, visit ArabShrineCircus.com and be sure to thank our corporate sponsor, Security Benefit, the Arab Shrine Circus. Don't you dare miss it!
Tarwater Farm and Home has been family owned and operated since its beginning in 1978. What you need for farm and agriculture, lawn and garden, clothing and footwear, and so much more. You'll be surprised at what you'll find in this huge store. They have what you need and lots of it. So come take a look. You'll discover that customer service is first and foremost. Always has been with the Tarwaters. Tarwater Farm and Home, 4107 North Topeka Boulevard.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well in their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, we'll be glad to answer it and work with you.
Hello, I'm Dr. Frank Lyons from Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center here in Manhattan, Kansas. Daryl was one of our patients that we did about 7 months ago.
I dug trees by hand for years and years and years. In the process, I wore out my rotator cuff. But when I learned about this process, I thought if there's a way to get rid of this pain, then I want to do it. So we did it, and it worked. I'm not going to go out and take trees with a shovel anymore, but I can do the things that I want to do now.
Well, it's been very gratifying to help people with their painful joints and other entities, and it's been especially gratifying to be able to help people who I know and have worked with and known for many years.
Hi, I'm Randy. And I'm Paul from PFI. We would like to personally invite you to stop by PFI, home of Boot Daddies. PFI is America's Western store, covering over 50,000 square feet. Over 25,000 boots. Visit Saddle City with the largest selection of saddles and tack anywhere. A huge selection of hats at Big Spur Hat Company in PFI Town. And choose from the best brands of clothing and accessories for the entire family. PFI, located on Highway 65 at the Battlefield exit in Springfield. And I'm not kidding.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor, and Justin Sexton, the Director of Supply Development with Certified Angus Beef.
Asking cattle buyers to fill your pens with good black cattle isn't descriptive enough.
There is a tremendous amount of range and variation in feeder cattle, and if we think about just the average calf today, we think about a black steer that's going to gain 3.8 and maybe convert 5.5, 5.7. But the variability around that performance in the feed yard is high, as is that calf's ability to grade and ultimately the performance on the rail.
Justin Sexton says, of all the factors that play into price, genetics might contribute the most to profit or loss, but gets the least attention on the upfront buy.
As you look at the data, between $2 and $4 per hundredweight can be attributed to flesh, fill, point of origin, and a number of factors that, again, we think about every day when pricing feeder cattle. But the genetic potential that each of those calves, or ultimately a pen of calves, has a tremendous amount of variation around it.
There's an opportunity for farmers and ranchers to be more active with how they market the value of their genetic selection. Sharing genomic information or previous feeding history is a start.
And the opportunity from a cow-calf perspective is how can I help communicate the investment in genetics that I have made? Because as we look at all of those other traits, flesh, fill, condition, those type of things, all of those are traits that can be observed or previously known. The genetic potential of an animal is largely unknown without either some testing or some background information. And so just encourage the cow-calf and commercial cattlemen to work towards communicating that information to the feed yard customer.
Once the cattle are in the yard, there's little any feeder can do to change the final outcome. Simply put, high-quality beef begins at the ranch level. I'm Bob Cervera.
Stay with us. We'll be back after the break with Plain Talk.
You don't have to be a farmer or rancher to become a Kansas Farm Bureau member. Anyone can join. As a member, you'll get discounts on things like hotels and entertainment, health and wellness services, cell phone plans, and more. You'll also strengthen the lives of your fellow Kansans and help build strong, prosperous communities through agriculture advocacy and education. Join us today. Visit kfb.org/join to learn more.
As fourth-generation farmers themselves, Heinen Brothers Ag Service understands the risk and rewards of farming. So when it comes to quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia, call Heinen Brothers Ag today, 800-760-4964.
Welcome to our Bar B, 8,000 plus square feet Western store with something for everyone in the family. We have boots, belts, hats, jeans, anything you could want to outfit you and your horse. Come visit our line of saddles. We have 400 plus new and used saddles in stock. We offer tack, grooming supplies, headstalls, breast collars, you name it, we've got it for you and your horse. That's our Bar B, 1 mile east of Highway 4 on Northeast 39th. Our Bar B, where Western is a way of life.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Welcome back. Now let's see what Kyle Bauer and Duane Toews are up to on Plain Talk.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Plain Talk with Duane Allen Toews.
Kyle Bauer, your fact or fiction question of the day. The average American diet, 9 out of 10 folks are deficient in protein. Fact or fiction?
I think that's true. And in fact, I'm not even sure. One day I looked for the RDA on protein. What's RDA stand for? Recommended Daily Allowance. Right. And I think people, they watch their cholesterol and they watch their salt and they watch their calories, and there isn't one person in 50 can even tell you how many grams of protein they're supposed to get a day. And you're saying how many people?
9 out of 10.
I'll say true.
That's false.
Okay.
It's not very much protein.
3 ounce serving of meat. Is that an RDA? Just 3 ounce serving?
I think
it's 20 grams, isn't it, of protein?
It's not a lot to get there. This says potassium.
No, that's where your bananas come in, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what else gives potassium. 9 out of 10 people are short in potassium.
Wasn't potassium chloride salt?
Either that or it's a terrible poison. I'm not sure which one it is.
Might be. Remember.
Yeah. Don't go with that.
Not a nutritionist here. I just find it hard to believe we're that short of potassium.
Well, okay.
Of all the things that we eat that contain potassium?
Well, I don't know, but first of all, we don't even know what the RDA is. Secondly, I can't name you anything besides bananas that has potassium in it. And thirdly, what are the symptoms of being short of potassium?
Is that suffering from leg cramps?
Well, I think you're right.
Athletes have.
You're right.
Don't twitch and jerk like that.
Yeah.
I know athletes have issues with.
I think that is true. I was thinking it was
half the world's
a memory
drinking
problem.
Some kind of a sports drink. How could they be short of potassium?
What is the thing when you're short of potassium? Memory loss. What is the thing when you're short?
What is the?
Potassium, huh? And protein is not. I honestly think the RDA is 20 grams of protein, but I will tell you that a lot of adults, I'm saying older people, I'm going to go with older people.
Okay.
Older than me. Anybody that's older than me is an older person.
There we go.
There you go. I don't think they watch their protein enough, and so therefore it's hard for them to keep up good muscle tone. Because would you agree that you build muscle with protein?
That's kind of the major building block.
Yeah, exactly. And I suspect as older people get older, anybody older than me, they need to watch that because it's awfully hard to maintain muscle tone if you don't have enough protein.
Huh.
So,
well, that's probably why they add it to some of those nutrition drinks that they recommend older people.
There you go.
Eat in their diet.
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.